30 times. Ten times more. Two times more. Letting go and stop.
And when oxytocin is released, it's impossible to hold a grudge. You cannot hold a grudge because you wouldn't want to trade this feeling by judging another person. You wouldn't want to trade this feeling for any condition in your environment. And this is the beginning of unconditional love. This is the beginning of our divinity. So when you have all this energy in your heart and oxytocin levels are elevated, this is a different consciousness. Now, the only thing you want to do is give. You want to say, I feel so amazing, and I want you to feel the way I feel. So here, I'll give this to you. So now people come to our work to help others. People come to this work because they're not so interested in the material things, although if it got them here, and they learn the formula and they learn how to create. Once you get that, now that game's over. Now you want to make a difference. You want to leave a legacy. You want to contribute. You want to help somebody. And we bring children in at the end of the event and we heal them of really serious health conditions. And we have really profound and prestigious universities in the United States saying, what in the heck are you guys doing? Like, we want to come and study this because it's so phenomenological. Now you're being a part of something great. So yeah, it may be the sports car, it may be the new relationship, it may be healing your body, but then when that happens, now what? What are you gonna do now?
Exactly.
I mean, what are you gonna do when you have everything? What are you gonna do now? The next thing is, how am I gonna make a difference? We're wired to care for one another, to be kind to one another, to heal one another, to shine for one another, so to show other people they can shine. That's what the living organism does when they're not in fear. They're not in aggression and hatred and prejudice and all those things that create division.
Thirty times. Ten times more. Two times more. letting go, and stop.
So when that person runs into that experience of the divine, and their brain goes into an aroused state of gamma, they're getting a biological upgrade. I can guarantee you that some health condition will be eliminated because they just ran into wholeness, and their body will become more whole. So they could do all the diets, all the chemotherapy, all the nutrition, everything, and they're handling that health condition matter to matter. And when you change that, anything in your life matter to matter, there's a long space between cause and effect, between thought and experience. It's sometimes so long you forget what your dream was. But when you run into it and you produce an immediate effect, now you're doing it in no time. It's happening in the moment. And if you can capture that and you see the brain go into these elevated states of coherent gamma patterns, 200, 300, 400, 500 standard deviations outside of normal. That person can't make their brain do that. That's a subjective experience that we're capturing objectively. And we say to that person, what was that? And it's ineffable. They don't have the words to describe what a mango tastes like. They don't have the words to describe what the divine is. You got to just experience it. So then, that person that stands on the stage that has Parkinson's disease or had Parkinson's disease, that's a 76-year-old female that couldn't blow her nose, couldn't swallow, couldn't chew her food, couldn't stand up. One moment, running into the divine, and next thing you know, she's on the stage telling her story. And she's not young, and she's not buffed, and she doesn't look like a vegan, and she's not dressed like everybody that cares about that. She's just, you would walk right past her. But when she's talking and I'm looking out in the audience, I'm looking at 1,500 people leaning in. Nobody has got their eyes off of her because she's the example of truth.
"30 times. "10 times more. "2 times more. Letting go and stop.
And that's the 4-minute mile. Puncture right through there. That's a piercing through a layer of consciousness. And that leaves a footprint in consciousness. And there's someone in the audience with Parkinson's disease looking at her going, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And here comes the 4-minute mile. As soon as it's broken, the next person does it. So by the end of the event, there's so much love in the room. There's so much energy in the room because people feel so incredible that they're not attached to their past any longer. They're so connected to they're so connected to their future that they stop telling the story of their past. They're telling the story of their future. They're no longer believing in their past. They're believing in their future. They're no longer romancing their past. They're in a romance with their future. And if oxytocin levels are up and it's the chemical that bonds, you're going to believe in that future you're creating with all of your heart. It better be opened and activated, and we're going to measure it. And I'm going to tell you, you're doing it or you're not. And so then when people start realizing it was never about that, it was about who they became, that we overcome, that we overcome that week. We overcome. I give people numerous opportunities to get beyond themselves, numerous opportunities to connect with themselves. I want them to get frustrated. I want them to get impatient. I want them to get overly analytical, because that's the end of their belief. And then finally, when they finally make up their mind to let go and just do it, and they run into that feeling, they run into that experience, they're all in. You think they don't want a sports car anymore. They want that, whatever that was. And if it comes with a transcendental moment, when they come back to their senses from that inner experience, their spectrum of reality is broadened.